Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2025, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 77 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030, Viksit Bharat at 2047. In collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, we are celebrating and commemorating International Asteroid Day and also International Day of Parliamentarism. And many other commemorations. First, let's look at International Asteroid Day, which is commemorated on 30th June every year. So in December 2016, the United Nations General Assembly adopted resolution 71/90 declaring 30th June International Asteroid Day in order to observe each year at the international level the anniversary of the Tunguska impact over Siberia, Russian Federation on 30th June 1908 and to raise public awareness about the asteroid impact hazard. So International Asteroid Day aims to raise public awareness about the asteroid impact hazard and to inform the public about the crisis communication actions to be taken at the global level in case of credible near-Earth object threat. So the General Assembly decision was made based on a proposed by Association of Space Explorers, which was endorsed by Committee on the Peaceful Uses of Outer Space, which in short known as COPUOS. So the 2029 is the International Year of Asteroid Awareness and Planetary Defense. On 13th April 2029, the asteroid 99942 Apophis will pass safely at a distance of 32,000 kilometers above Earth's surface within the geostationary orbit, posing no threat to the planet. This extremely close approach will make the asteroid visible to the billions of people with the naked eye in the clear night sky. So this will be once in a millennium event and a unique occasion for a worldwide campaign to raise awareness with regard to asteroids, their scientific and resource value, and the potential hazard they pose. In 2024, the General Assembly declared 2029 the International Year of Asteroid Awareness and Planetary Defense to take advantage on the close approach of 99942 FOSFIS and raise global awareness about asteroids. So this initiative aims to highlight the collaborative efforts of the Committee on the Peaceful Use of Outer Space in mitigating potential hazards from near Earth objects while also providing an opportunity for a global education campaign. So near Earth objects and NEOs are asteroids and comets whose orbit brings them closer than 1.3 astronomical units or approximately 195 million kilometers to the Sun. And NEOs or near Earth objects that are closer than 0.05 astronomical units to Earth's orbit, about 7.5 million kilometers, and larger than 140 meters in size, represent potentially catastrophic threats to our planet. According to NASA's Center for NEO Studies, there are over 36,000 near-Earth asteroids discovered. The Tunguska asteroid, even in Siberia, Russian Federation, on 30th June 1908, was the Earth's largest asteroid impact in recorded history. So on 15th February 2013, a large fireball, technically called a super boldly, traveling at a velocity of 18.6 kilometers per second, entered the atmosphere and disintegrated in the skies over Chelyabinsk. According to the NASA, the approximate effective diameter of the asteroid was estimated at 18 meters and its mass at 11,000 tons. So the approximate total impact energy of Chelyabinsk fireball in kilotons of TNT explosives, the energy parameter usually quoted for a fireball, and was 440 kilotons. So the Chelyabinsk event was an extraordinary large fireball, the most energetic impact event recognized since the 1908 Tunguska blast in Russian Siberia. So building on recommendations for an international response to the near-Earth object impact threat endorsed by the Committee on the Peaceful Uses of Outer Space, in short known as COPUS, in 2013, the International Asteroid Warning Network, IAWN, and the Space Mission Planning Advisory Group, SMPAG, were established in 2014. The International Asteroid Warning Network, IAWN, uses well-defined communication plans and protocols to assist governments in the analysis of possible consequences of an asteroid impact and to support planning of mitigation responses. The Space Mission Planning Advisory Group, SMPAG, is an interspace agency forum that identifies technologies needed for near-Earth object deflection and aims to build consensus on recommendations for planetary defense measures. The United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, in short known as UNOSA, works to promote international cooperation and in the peaceful use of exploration of space and in the utilization of space science and technology for sustainable economic and social development. The office assists any United Nations member states to establish legal regulatory frameworks to govern space activities and strengthens the capacity of developing countries to use space science technology and application for development by helping to integrate space capabilities into national development programs. The United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, UNOSA, in cooperation with the China Manned Space Agency, CMSA, launched the program, which capitalizes on the technological and innovative skills of the government of China to benefit member states of the United Nations, in particular developing countries, thereby contributing to the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, through increasing access to space. Association of Space Explorers recognize Asteroid Day as pivotal global educational movement. So this association is having a vision of a world where living, working, and exploring in space will be familiar to humanity as life on our planet. So the mission, as we apply the unique perspective of our astronaut, cosmonaut members to promote the global benefits of space science, exploration, and international cooperation, to educate and inspire future generations, and to foster better stewardship of our whole planet. Today is also commemorated as International Day of Parliamentarianism on 30th June, achieving gender equality, action by action. So women remain underrepresented in national and local legislatures worldwide, limiting their political rights and influence over laws and budgets. UN Women advocates for more women leaders, supportive laws, and skills building through policy dialogues and cross-party collaboration. Partnership with groups like the Interparliamentary Union are the key to these efforts. The IPU's Forum of Women Parliamentarians, active for over 40 years, empowers women MPs to address gender imbalances and includes men as allies, embodying the approach for 2025 IPU theme. Achieving gender equality action by action, the forum helped introduce rules requiring women's inclusion in parliamentary delegations. The Interparliamentary Union, established in 1889, holds the distinction of being the first political multilateral organization aimed at fostering international cooperation and resolving conflicts through dialogue rather than warfare. So, throughout its history, the IPU has been a pivotal platform for parliamentary diplomacy, enabling nations to engage in meaningful conversations and mediation. So, organization's impact is underscored by the fact that its founders and numerous other prominent members have been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, highlighting their contributions to global peace efforts. In countries emerging from conflict or transitioning to democracy, the IPU plays a critical role in building strong democratic parliamentary institutions capable of uniting divided societies. The organization's commitment to peace is further demonstrated through its vigorous advocacy for disarmament. The IPU actively lobbies for a world free of nuclear weapons and supports the thorough implementation of UN Security Council Resolution 1540, which aims to prevent non-state actors from acquiring weapons of mass destruction. So in countries from emerging from conflict or transitioning to democracy, the IPU plays a critical role in building strong democratic parliamentary institutions capable of uniting divided societies. The organization's commitment to peace is further demonstrated through its vigorous advocacy for disarmament. The IPU actively lobbies for a world free of nuclear weapons and supports the through implementation of UN Security Council Resolution 1540, which aims to prevent non-state actors from acquiring weapons of mass destruction, recognizing that war disproportionately impacts women and youth, and IPU places a special emphasis on peace and security for these groups. The focus is guided by UN Security Council resolutions 1325 and 2250, which addresses the roles and protections of women and youth in conflict situations. So, most parliaments remain male dominated, and women MPs are often underrepresented on decision making bodies. 80% of the women parliamentarians interviewed have experienced by psychological violence. In parliament in 1978, only 7.7% of IPU assembly delegates were women. Now, women MPs regularly account for about 30% of the participants, and at some assemblies, even more. In 2024, despite a high number of elections with 73 chamber renewals globally, women's parliamentary representation increased by only 0.3 percentage points, marking slowest rate of progress since 2017. While the proportion of women in parliament has increased fractionally by 0.3 percentage points to 27.2% compared to a year ago. In government positions, it has declined by 0.4 percentage points. So the International Day of Parliamentarism is celebrated every year on 30th June, the date in 1889 on which IPU was founded. The day was established in 2018 through a United Nations General Assembly resolution. Instituting an International Day for Parliamentarians is particularly important at this critical time for parliamentary democracy. When people are losing trust in political institutions and democracy itself is facing challenges from populist and nationalist movements, if democracy is to thrive, then parliamentarians, as the cornerstone of functioning democracies, need to be strong, transparent, accountable, and representative. The International Day of Parliamentarism is a time to review the progress and parliaments have made in achieving some key goals to be more representative and move with times, including carrying out self-assessments, working to include more women and young MPs, and adapting to new technologies. The United Nations General Assembly, in its resolution 72 by 278, recognized the role of parliaments in national plans and strategies and in ensuring greater transparency and accountability at national and global levels. So, advancing parliamentary equality, many women worldwide still face discrimination and underrepresentation in parliaments, which remain largely male dominated. The IPU works to increase women's participation, support women parliamentarians, and make parliamentarians more gender sensitive through data, tools, and advocacy. By tracking progress and promoting gender equality, the IPU helps strengthen democracies globally. So, parliamentarians from around the world share their personal journeys. They highlight the challenges and successes they have experienced in that roles together. They showcase how their parliaments are working to advance their gender equality. Today is also commemorated as Social Media Day on June 30th. Especially in the US, first there was telephone, then fax machine, and then social media, a revolutionary way of communicating since its creation. People have been able to connect with each other like never before. Friends and family can connect at any moment. And marketers have been able to reach consumers in an entirely new fashion. In fact, people use social media for an average of 144 minutes every single day. Because of its impact on society over the years, Social Media Day was born on June 30 and it has continued to grow in popularity ever since. The World Social Media Day was launched by Mashable on June 30, 2010. It was born as a way to recognize social media's impact on global communication and to bring the world together to celebrate. Everyone uses social media every day. It's how we connect with the people all over the world in a simple and fast way. Mashable is known to use social media to connect various cultures, movements, and tandems, which is why they wanted a day to celebrate. People use the hashtag SMA every year, and this year it's your time to get involved. The first social media platform ever to be launched was 6 Degrees in 1997, founded by Andrew Weinreich. The website allowed users to list friends and family members and had features such as profiles, bulletin boards, and school affiliations. At its peak, 6 Degrees had over a million users, but it was eventually shut down in 2001. The first modern social media platform was Friendster in 2002. The website allowed people safely make new friends and over 100 million users, most of whom are in Asia. LinkedIn, the first business-focused social media platform, was launched in 2003. MySpace launched in 2004, the same year as Facebook. But initially, it saw much greater success than Mark Zuckerberg's creation. By 2006, MySpace was the largest social media platform in the world, with users loving the customized profiles that also enable them to post their music. YouTube launched its website dedicated to video in 2005, and Twitter followed with its limited characters platform in 2006. As both grew in popularity, so did Facebook, and the most popular social media platforms for the next 5 years were being established. Instagram launched in 2010 and saw rapid growth, gaining over a million users within the first couple of months. With Instagram challenging their dominance, Facebook purchased platform for $1 billion in 2012. Facebook also purchased the encrypted messaging platform WhatsApp for $16 billion in 2014. One platform that Facebook failed to buy was Snapchat. Snapchat, which became popular due to its disappearing stories feature, was launched in 2011 and reportedly turned down a $3 billion offer from Facebook in 2013. The most recent addition to the list of social media heavyweights is TikTok. The app was launched in 2016 and has become incredibly popular due to its extensive music and video editing features. As social media has evolved and grown in popularity, so the scrutiny that platforms comes with controversies surrounding their use of data, hate speech, impact of mental health, election results, and fake news. The platforms are under more pressure than ever to be transparent with what goes on behind the scenes. Social media has become a way to instantly connect, often with friends and family, but also with complete strangers. It has become a huge source of news, shopping, finding influencers for business, and general entertainment. Social media days for us to enjoy the positive that these platforms have brought into our lives and maybe like or share photo or two. Today is also commemorated as Philippine Spanish Friendship Day in Philippines. which is observed on June 30 every year. It celebrates the strong relationship between the Republic of the Philippines and the Kingdom of Spain. Despite a long history of colonization, it commemorates the 33 Spanish soldiers who defended the Spanish flag at the Siege of Valor and who remained there for 1898 to 1899, only to find out that Spain has already given the Philippines independence on December 10, 1898. Their endurance impressed the Revolutionary Army to the point that General Emilio Aguinaldo is issued a decree requiring them to be treated as friends. The Filipino Spanish Friendship Day bill was passed on July 20, 2002. Today is also commemorated as National Meteor Watch Day. Celebrates on June 30 by finding out as much as you can about the phenomenon and the impact it leaves on Earth. For starters, let's look at what meteors are. Have you ever seen movies where the actors are busy searching for shooting stars in the sky? Well, that's just a fancy name for meteorite. These shooting or falling stars come from solar system and are actually broken fragments of asteroids. These fragments can take millions of years before they hit Earth. So meteors are also known as space rocks since they fall on Earth from space. However, when these rocks enter our atmosphere, they are quite noticeable since they leave a glowing streak in the sky. Meteors were also defined as solid objects moving in an interplanetary space in 1961 by the International Astronomical Union. Meteors have existed since time immemorial. It just took scientists time to discover their existence. Meteors gained a lot of traction in the 19th century and became the study of many astronomers such as Dennis Olmsted, who began analyzing meteor showers in order to understand their origins. In 1866, scientists like Hubert and Newton began to make predictions regarding the next meteor showers. Studying meteors is also essential to determine the solar system's history. Another fact about meteors that had people intrigued was that they vary in size and weight. Some are huge and weigh over 60 tons, while others are as small as pebbles that we can hold in our hands. So the largest meteorite to hit our planet was found in 1920 in Namibia. The space rock was 9 feet across, weighted 60 tons, and was made out of an alloy of iron and nickel. But this isn't all. Some meteors also fall to Earth with a dramatic entry that often causes destruction and death. These meteors are known as fireballs. Finally, the craters we see on the moon are caused by meteors. Today is also commemorated as National Corvette Day in US. On June 30, it gives Americans the opportunity to celebrate a major accomplishment in their automobile history. It's a great time to learn about how the Corvette became a part of modern American history by pushing the limits of technology and making the American automobile industry a symbol of industrial genius. Today is also commemorated as Congo Independence Day in Congo. This day marks the country's historic independence from the Belgian colonial powers, which happened on June 30, 1960. Belgian interference with Congo began in 1885 when the King Leopold II established his own Congo Free State and started to rule. His reign brought brutal oppression and forced labor to the people of Congo, which thankfully ended after valiant independence struggles. In 1960, Belgium finally released its hold on the nation. Today is also commemorated as Clean Your Disposal Day, which is annually observed on June 30, encourages everyone to give their often overlooked garbage disposal some needed attention. This day is a perfect reminder to tackle crime, banish orders, and ensure that indispensable kitchen appliance continues to run smoothly. By taking a few simple steps, you can keep your kitchen smelling fresh and prevent common disposal issues. Have you ever wondered how we went from scrapping food scraps into the trash to simply flipping a switch and watching them disappear down the drain? The garbage disposal is one of those kitchen essentials we take for granted, but its story is surprising, fascinating. The garbage disposal was invented in 1927 by John W. Hams in Racine, Wisconsin. As an architect, Hams had an eye for design and efficiency. But it was his desire to make kitchen cleaner, easier for his wife that sparked the greatest invention. So he created the first food-based disposal, essentially a small motorized grinder that could pulverize food scraps so that they could wash safely down the kitchen sink. But Hammers wasn't in any rush to change the world overnight. He spent 6 years tinkering and perfecting his device. Finally seeking a patent in 1933. The patent was granted in 1935, and by 1940, the first garbage disposal hit the market under his company name. Incinerator. In that time, General Electric introduced a garbage disposal system. The disposal was released in 1935, so there is some dispute about who really invented the garbage disposal. Despite the usefulness of the invention, not everyone embraced it. Throughout the 1930s and 1940s, many cities actually banned residents from putting food waste into their sewer systems. Municipal authorities were genuinely worried about overwhelming their aging infrastructure and contaminating water supplies. So these concerns were in turn formed either even as late as 1970s, New York City prohibited kitchen garbage disposals, fearing the impact on their aging sewer systems and the discharge of organic waste into nearby rivers. That's exactly why Clean Your Disposal Day matters. It's about being a responsible owner of this remarkable invention that transformed how we handle kitchen waste. Regularly used garbage disposals need to be emptied once in a week. To clean a smelly disposal, first use ice and salt. Grind a few cups of ice cubes and a cup of coarse salt with cold water to dislodge food. Then deodorize with baking soda and vinegar. Pour up Today is also commemorated as Armed Forces Day in Guatemala. On June 30, the country commemorates the anniversary of momentous revolt against oppression between outdated ideologies and a fresh perspective on the world. This is your typical fight of the titans and the balance of conservative philosophy versus the vigor of liberal thought. On this day, many lifetimes ago, Vincit Serna's autocratic immovable rule was overthrown by the liberal revolution and a new era in Guatemalan history began. So the history of Armed Forces Day in Guatemala is incomplete without mentioning Vincent Serna, a military officer and close associate of dictator Rafael Carrier, 1840 to 1865. Carrier's rule evoked mixed reactions in Guatemala. He was undoubtedly a ruthless despot, but also ushered in an era of peace and development, particularly in the growth of coffee culture in Guatemala. Before Carey died, he named Serna as his successor. So Serna continued what Carrera had started, and for a while everything went great. Soon pressures on his regime began mounting. By 1967, his rule saw numerous insurrections and rebellions. Political alliances in the region began falling apart too. Serna's government was on poor terms with more liberal regime in Mexico under Benito Juarez Guatemalan and foreign groups keen to modernize and expand coffee in the region grew increasingly frustrated with Serna's popular policies. He hung on to power regardless and unleashed a campaign against detractors. Today is also commemorated as Rabbit Week from June 30 to July 7. It takes place from July 30 to July 7. This week-long event was established to raise awareness about rabbits, sometimes considered forgotten pets. It's an annual event aiming to educate rabbit owners on how to properly look after them. Over the years, Burgess Pet Care has tried to raise awareness about nutrition, health care, and daily care to ensure that bunny population of the UK can be better cared for. So there are currently over 300 breeds of rabbits on the planet. All of them have descended from the European rabbit. Recent evidence has found that the earlier rabbits originated in Spain and France, and historians assume that early humans in those regions hunted rabbits for food. Still, the first ever written record of rabbits came from ancient Rome when people kept them in cabinets and enclosures. So the practice of keeping rabbits as pets date back to Victorian England, as evidenced by the selective breeding of rabbits for variations including size, shape, color, and hair length and texture. Other pieces of evidence were rabbit shows and British Rabbit Council (BRC) during the 1920s. The former notably led to an increase in the popularity of rabbits as pets and due to selective breeding in the past and the resulting impact on the health of the rabbit population. The BRC encourages research to better understand the diseases that affect rabbits as well as solid welfare and husbandry. So today rabbits are the third most popular pet after cats and dogs, unfortunately, due to lack of awareness about how to properly care for pet rabbits. They are sometimes abandoned by their owners. Their owners often don't spend enough time with their rabbits, misunderstand their needs, and misconstrue them like toys instead of living beings. Most of them love to be cuddled and stroked when approached in the right way. Rabbits usually do not bite, but if one does for grabbing or surprising him, it doesn't mean that it hates you. Rabbits don't menstruate, they are induced ovulators. This means that they can get pregnant anytime. So a female rabbit is called a doe, a male rabbit is called a buck. Rabbits have an average lifespan of 5 to 10 years. Unlike depictions in pop culture, carrots aren't a part of rabbits' diet. Baby rabbits are called kittens. So, Rabbit Awareness Week aims to raise awareness about proper care for rabbits, considering how misunderstood rabbits are. It's quite an important mission. Rabbit Awareness Week is a reminder for pet owners to update their knowledge about pet care. Nothing is more important. Rabbit Awareness Week is a good reminder for commonly held beliefs are not necessarily correct. It's a good cue to reassess if the prevailing norm is what is right. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for joining us. And we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form, which is being raised in the form of votes before leaving the platform. And tomorrow, on occasion of National Doctors' Day, we are inviting all the doctors and psychologists, social workers, nurses, pharmacists, and all those who are working technicians, all those working in any medical and health field. You can join us tomorrow, and by being part, you can be part of the celebrations internationally. There is no constraints. Anyone from any part of the world can join. So we request you to invite all your friends who are in medical, health, and allied sciences to be part of the celebrations. All the medical professionals who share their details to us in advance or after the event immediately, they will be given an appreciation certificate and a special honor certificate on the occasion of National Doctors' Day. So spread this word to everyone, to all the doctors, psychologists, counselors, social workers, pharmacists, nurses, lab technicians, and everyone, whoever is working in this field, to be part of it and accept our gratitude and appreciation on this wonderful occasion. So see you all tomorrow at the same time. Take care. Good night.